Hey, hey, hey. Welcome back to the CoinRotator channel. I'm here back with the myth, the legend, Pixio. What's up? How you doing?
Hey man, how's it going? I'm doing great.
Yeah,
Just enjoying summer vibes. This is
it's
a little mini alt season we got going.
it's been a
This,
while since we done this, huh?
yeah. I, I have to admit I'm a little slack in the podcasting department,
I
but
think that's fine. The people have been dying. They've been texting
well,
nonstop. They're like, "Where's the
yeah,
next
right.
episode?"
Well, maybe not so much, but there's been a few questions, so I figured it was time to do another one of these, so we can have a record of what's been going on in summer 2025,
I mean,
because it looks like things are setting up for an epic leg up in the markets,
yeah, there
and
seems to be
I just want
big
to like
things.
let
Yeah,
people know
yeah, big
what's
things in the
happening.
works. Even me, like I haven't talked to you that much lately as well. Like you've been working hard. I've been browsing CoinRotator by myself, which is like
Oh, by yourself? Oh, okay.
I'm scared.
What have you? What
I
have you?
need my mentor to help me go through
Uh,
it. Like I
no,
use all the filters that are available to me.
yeah.
With the key pass and everything.
What are some of your favorite filters these days?
I mean, the
What
funding rate is great. Just having it available here.
Yeah.
The streaks are obviously nice too. Always looking for the
Uh,
freshest trends.
right.
Yeah, obviously, I think the most underrated feature is the market health.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the LTFs. But there's like so many things that I like, and like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm just lazy. It's like it's hard to grasp it all at once.
Right.
I really
Right.
wish there was a way to just for someone or something to just compile all the data for me.
Martin, are you leaking some alpha here? What are you talking about?
I might have heard something, some news.
Yeah. Well, I mean, should we talk about it
I think the
or?
cat's out the bag at this point, so we
Yeah,
might as well
I
just
think
say it.
anyone who's been in the channel knows what we've been working on. So yeah, let's do a market summary with Shumi instead of CoinRotator. So because Shumi is basically AI with CoinRotator guardrails.
Boom! Who would have
So
expected AI?
so basically, like everyone has ChatGPT, everyone has Claude, and these days, uh, these these LLMs are pretty good for crypto. Like before, they were basically censoring crypto
Mm.
under the last administration, but everything changed when Trump came in. But what's happening now is you've got teams like CoinRotator who are basically making custom AIs that can give you all of their data plus
Yes.
blended with news and external data points. And
Yes.
so the difference is like if you were to ask a crypto question on ChatGPT or Claude right now, it would give you an answer which wouldn't really be suitable for traders. But with Shumi, our new model, you're basically guaranteed to get actionable trading information
Mm.
uh, that's basically interpreting CoinRotator algo data. So people that we have beta testing it now, they find it pretty useful. It's still in alpha stage, but within the next 2 weeks, I'd say it will be public beta, and we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you ask a regular chatbot, like a regular AI chatbot, it's like very reserved when it comes to crypto. It's like, oh, I don't want to give you like financial advice because they
Yeah,
don't want to be liable. They're just like,
yeah, exactly,
they're little
exactly.
pussies. Just like if
They're
I
little
if
pussy.
if I have to say it bluntly, but Shumi
Yeah,
is I've been testing it a
yeah,
lot. Like I've gotten access. Thank you, Pixio.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
been using it
absolutely.
a lot, and it's built to understand crypto and help you trade.
Yeah, definitely. This is a custom model. And again, to compare to the LLMs, which are extremely powerful and useful, and they do have real time data, but it's not designed or like the prompt basically that you set up with it. It's not
Mm,
designed to help you trade better. But Shumi's prompt is precisely
mm,
engineered to help you trade better.
yes.
There are some scenarios with Shumi where you can actually get it to play like hypothetical predicting, like it can try to tell you what it thinks is going to happen, or it can go through the scenarios, whereas with the larger models they're not so good with that. So it's quite useful. Of course it's a little buggy because the prompt is still kind of young, but we're working our way through it, and we're pretty proud of what's coming up with it so far. I've been using it to basically to cross-reference my trades with my setup. Some other guys in the beta chat have been as well. But at this point, like we're almost there. Like things are looking really nice. Yeah, maybe we can try a few queries and you can see the power of Shumi.
Yeah, and it's already there, and it's also kind of like any other chatbot. Like you mentioned that there's a like a master prompt, but
Mhm.
you can prompt it to your own needs as well.
Exactly. Yeah,
Which is
we're
like
setting up
risk.
the model basically where you can have unlimited queries for a nominal fee. Um, but yeah, the cost per compute is just trending down in general. So as we go along, we'll just be able to create more and more power that will give you custom outputs specifically for how you trade. This is the goal, and I think we're quite close to it already, and
Yeah.
we just started, so it's pretty cool. So like for example, I'm a pretty mechanical trader, but other people are more vibe trading, so they just want to know sentiment, or they want to know some esoteric data point about the moon phases or sunspots or something insane like this, or like what color tie is Donald Trump wearing. And with Shumi, you'll actually be able to cross-reference the performance of Bitcoin and other coins with real-world events.
Yeah,
And
anything you want, anything you want.
yeah, it's gonna be wild, and I'm super excited.
Yeah, I was just like asking when like the Elon and Trump beef happened. I was like, did someone make a coin about it? It's like Elon beef something.
Yeah,
It's
of
like,
course there was a ton of
I'm
shit
on that.
coins. Yeah, but yeah, that's actually an interesting query. Why don't we try a few
Yeah,
queries and
I wanted to
see what,
like emphasize that also that
yeah,
Shumi is directly connected to CoinRotator. It has all the data that's on
yeah,
CoinRotator. So
right,
like for
yeah,
example, instead of checking the market health, you could ask something
right,
like, "What's the current market vibe?"
yeah,
You know,
yeah, exactly.
and not
Yeah,
only
this
is
is
it gonna give you the numbers, which you can see it on the market health, it's gonna give
yeah,
you its own insight, and you can
yeah,
customize, you know, based on
exactly.
more prompts.
Yeah, it shows the current price of Bitcoin, general market vibes, the trend distribution. As you can see now, HODL is dominant, um, and then down, and then uptrends. So HODL, just for anyone who's not familiar with market health, maybe you can show them the graph again.
Yeah.
Anyone who's not familiar with market health, HODL is basically when Bitcoin and Ethereum are more dominant than alts as a whole. So it's not necessarily bullish or bearish; it's neutral. But until today, things were creeping up a bit. But today was kind of a down day, so alts went in a downtrend again.
Yeah, we've
But
finally gotten out of the extreme-ish territory of downs. But
yeah,
yeah,
since
it spiked.
mid May, altcoins have been trending down primarily as a group. But
Mm-hmm.
finally, we went into a hodl phase, and yeah, I think based on everything that's been happening in macro and in the general crypto market, we have a pretty bullish summer ahead. I'm quite excited by it. So I wanted to have Shumi
Yeah, it's
available
great
for
timing.
the general market. Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be really, really fun and cool. Um, Shumi's going to have a different, we call them archetypes. It's going to have archetypes for people who are really mechanical like me, who want like, you know, just to use an algorithm to trade and make decisions. Then we'll have like a blended version where we'll have like scoring of sentiment as well as
Mm.
algo. So like it will tell you how bullish the algo is. It will tell you how bullish the sentiment is for a specific coin, for a specific time frame. You can even run historical queries about events that happened in the past.
Oh,
Like
really?
yeah, we had asked it before. You and I, we were just looking at like Trump and Elon,
Yeah, yeah.
and it thought it was really bearish at that moment, but it did update it and say, well, it for these reasons it became quite bullish. We'll talk about that a little
Yeah, so it's
later.
gonna be like little alter egos of Shumi.
Exactly. Like
Mm.
whatever type of character you are in
Yeah, yeah.
crypto, you can adopt that with Shumi and have
Mm.
really valuable conversations. Some more ambitious plans are to actually turn Shumi into your quant. in the sense that it will be looking over your shoulder, and it will actually be asking you questions without you prompting it. And if it sees that the price or certain behavior of a trade you took is not going in the direction you want, it will literally ask you, hey, are you still in this hype trade? I see that price is down 15%. Are you thinking of cutting it? Or what is your time window for sitting on a loss? Like, how much
Oh.
time has it expired yet? And then you can even talk about money management with Shumi. Like, how much have you allocated from your portfolio? This is a little different than what's happening in DeFi, DEFAI. DeFi
Mm.
is a niche of AI, crypto AI, where people are trying to get AI to make trades for them. I don't think that's going to be a super promising path that people are taking. I think what will be much more useful is to rely on Shumi to check your emotions and your risk management. I think
That's
that this
great.
is I think this is a really, really valuable direction, and I haven't seen anyone
So
taking this direction.
it's going to be tied to like your account, your wallet.
Well, possibly, but to
Mm.
start off with, it will just simply work with information you give it. So if you tell it that you're in this trade or you're thinking of taking this trade,
Mm.
it will come back when you're logged in to Shumi, and it will ask you based on market data, uh, have you done anything with this trade? Have you taken profit?
Yeah, I
Have you
understand.
taken
Yeah.
loss? Have you added? How are you feeling about this trade? I think that
Oh.
this component of AI is not really being exposed on any level, and it's in the LLMs are already capable of this, whereas with DeFi the LLMs are not capable of working on their own.
Mm.
So, but what I'm saying is there's going to be a massive disappointment in a few months when some of these systems go live, because they're predictive models, right? These models are not precision models. They don't say exactly the same thing every time. But when
Mm.
you're talking about psychology, you don't have to be precise. And I think this is going to be a huge narrative in crypto AI very soon, and we're already building this.
Yeah,
So
that sounds great because right now when you use Shumi, every time you open it, it's a new window, but you're saying it's gonna remember your own trades
it,
and it's gonna
it
remind you.
will. We're working on a solution for this. Yeah, it'll
Mm.
basically be tied to your login. Your
Yeah,
login
yeah.
will have a small memory component.
I see. It's gonna be like everyone's gonna have their own little mushroom Pokemon. It's
Exactly.
gonna
Yeah.
help them around.
Everyone's gonna have their own little
That's
Shumi,
great.
and
It's even
everyone have
better
a
than I
custom
thought.
Shumi, and it will know how you trade because you've told it how you trade.
Oh, it's gonna start noticing patterns of your own trades.
Exactly.
Oh wow.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's what these LLMs do. They do pattern matching. They do predictive modeling, but they're not good at completing precision tasks.
Mm.
If anyone has tried to vibe code, they can see how many errors it makes in the code base. But if you ask it to give you emotional advice, I know a few of my friends and myself included, we've been talking to the paid version of ChatGPT
Uh huh.
and giving them like personal emotional information.
Oh, that's good because they know them so well because they've been like
It's giving
talking.
profound insights,
Mm.
like the kind of insights you actually get from a psychologist. And I mean, people are a little skittish about sharing private information, but I mean, you can use common sense. You don't give your bank account, you don't give exact numbers. Like, there are many ways to work in hypotheticals and still be very productive
That's
with
true.
personal information.
That's not the case for me. I was just telling Pixio about this girl I was talking to with ChatGPT.
Yeah, see? Exactly.
No, but I
Everyone,
see what you mean. Yeah.
yeah.
So it could like in theory, for example, notice like your win rate and like tie it with your emotional, stability and just be like, oh hey, last time you tried this, it wasn't so
Yeah,
good. Maybe you shouldn't do that again.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, all you have to do is share your trade entries and
Wow,
outcomes,
that sounds great.
and Shumi will be able to analyze the market and how you were feeling. And there's a lot of paths we can take with this, but generally speaking, I want to prompt it to make it a very passive process where they'll just be like market events, and it will chime in and ask you, "Hey, are you in this trade? How are you feeling about this trade? Do you want to add to this trade? Do you want to take a loss?"
Mm,
And this will be run through AI.
yeah.
I just don't see this existing in for retail traders, and it should. I think it's going to be very, very useful for CoinRotator users as well as new users.
Yeah, I mean the future for Shumi looks great. But let's look at some of the things that Shumi can do like right now. Actually,
Yeah,
let's just straight up ask it. Like for any new users, you
why
can
not?
just you can just communicate. So
Yeah,
what can you do?
yeah. So Shumi is kind of a inspiration from the CoinRotator vibe of like 8-bit gaming
Mm,
and sort of the idea that the mushroom network is similar to crypto and how traders collect information. It's
it's a whole
similar to a mushroom network, I guess.
whole ecosystem. Yeah.
Yeah,
So here, Shumi lists all its functions.
yeah, yeah. It can do really good deep dives on single coins. It's good at comparing coins. You can look up coins by their name, contract. Um, you can see based on which exchange you want to trade on. If you only want to see coins on your exchange, if you want to see coins with certain amount of open interest or volume, you can do that.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, it can combine two functions at once, as we saw earlier, where we can
yeah,
ask about the market health and the
that's
market
right.
vibe or like sentiment.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And another thing I forgot to show earlier is that when you ask it, it always keeps going. It's always step ahead. It suggests what should be your next move.
Exactly. Yeah, it's always trying to build a context for you so you understand what's possible with your trading. So if you want to do a pair trade or you want to trade futures, but you want to have a certain funding rate, or if you want to narrow it down to a specific sector, it's basically going to support you in whatever your vibe is for that moment.
Actually, let's keep exploring on what Stody's suggesting. What's pumping right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. I mean, market's down pretty hard today, but there's always outliers, right?
Yeah, for sure. There's always
Yeah.
opportunities, and Tody will
Exactly.
help you find them.
Yeah. So ETH hype. This WDPT, I'm not real sure what that is, but I always see it on the top trending coins. Uni. So it seems like it's kind of like some good DeFi. Some good DeFi plays are even in the BTC sell off overnight. Uh, Aave and Uniswap, they're still hanging in there.
Yeah,
Some of the meme coin leaders like Fartcoin and SPX 6900, although they're down a lot today, they're still up in their general trend. Maybe a good time to look at lower time frames to find an entry
oh yeah, yeah.
when things.
Actually, you showed me a profit screenshot for Fartcoin, right? You had a good trade on
Yeah,
that.
I had a pretty good trade on Fartcoin. I've
Yeah,
been selling a little bit at the highs. Definitely going to be adding more when Bitcoin calms down a bit. Maybe today or tomorrow
yeah. And
over the week.
anytime, yeah. Even if you're currently in the trade or even after, you can still ask Tody for directions.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, it's pretty helpful. Like sometimes when we're making trades, we kind of forget some of the basic rules of risk management because we're either too bullish or too bearish. And Shumi can come along and sort of give you some sound risk management ideas on how to manage your positions.
Yeah, Tody's also
So,
excellent at the BTC comparison, which is
yeah,
what CoinRotator is built on.
yeah, it's basically checking the delta of performance for each
Mm.
alt compared to BTC. Basically, the trends for the original algo, it will only give you an uptrend if the coin is objectively stronger than ETH and BTC. So yeah,
Yeah, here we see a deep dive on individual
right.
coin.
So it's saying it's in a negative correlation. Negative correlation is actually a bullish thing. It means that when Bitcoin goes down, Farcoin can go up. When Bitcoin goes up, Farcoin might go down, but it has a positive delta. So generally, it's stronger than Bitcoin. So if you're bullish on Bitcoin, you can express that bullishness through Farcoin since it's the most liquid large meme coin in crypto right now.
Yeah, and another thing that Shumi is great at is the recent trend history. It shows you, the previous streaks and their average length, and also even the funding historical range is possible if you ask it directly.
Yeah, which is pretty useful because some coins don't have a very large funding range because they're highly liquid. So you have people basically hedging them to either collect the interest or to protect their existing position from lower.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to specify.
Yeah, it's just giving you general
Yeah,
information.
that was my bad.
Very loyal. Shumi is very loyal.
It's always considering
Right.
the broader options.
Yeah. So you're paying about 11% a year to hold Farcoin on perpetuals, which is pretty low considering it has like a weekly volatility range of almost 50% right now. Like it's up and down 50% in value. So it's very, very reasonably priced, you can say. So it seems like a very good option if you don't want to just buy and hold Bitcoin. You could buy Farcoin, or you could use your Bitcoin as collateral and long some Farcoin, of course on low leverage. I really hate to see people get wiped out because they're being pigs, but to each his own, I guess. I can't be your mother and your father.
Shumi can. Hey.
Shumi definitely
Shumi
can,
be,
and that's
yeah.
kind of the point of what we're doing here. Yeah,
Yeah.
Shumi is very helpful to guide you to make better decisions, be more rational in your trading execution.
Yeah, it can help you even compare different coins. Like, let's say you're on the fence. For example, you did mention to me earlier of like Hype and SPX. It's like you could easily just ask Shumi for a comparison.
Yeah, because maybe you only want to buy one beta to Bitcoin. You don't want to have a basket. I'm a basket trader. I like always having a few coins. It helps with my FOMO, and primarily trading is about managing your expectations and emotions. It's not about having a perfect setup, because the outcome of individual trade is random. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And we're just trying to manage our risk. So you see here, it's comparing them and it's helping you decide which one will be better. So in terms of volatility, SPX has way more volatility, so the upside is higher, but the downside is also higher too. So
yeah, and it gives you a very unbiased point of view for the comparison.
Right.
And even if you don't like any coins, you can just keep searching on, and eventually you can even filter them the same way you can filter on CoinRotator.
Yeah, that's right. Let's do a literal analysis right now.
Yeah.
So let's choose a chain. We'll choose base chain. We'll go back to the modal so we can. So choose base chain. Yeah, and choose 1 day uptrends with a trend streak of 5.
Okay, up to 5.
Yeah, and we choose the exchange. We can use Binance.
Yeah.
But let's do derivatives.
Oh.
Let's do derivatives. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, and then check in the advanced modal for funding.
Yeah, show funding rate. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And that's your filter. So let's try to replicate this with Shumi.
Yes.
Yeah. So trend streak. Chain. Depends on base chain.
Uptrends.
Yeah. Show me uptrends.
On base chain with trends.
Trend streak.
Up to 5.
Yeah.
And on Binance,
available
right?
on Binance. Yeah.
Yeah.
And with funding rates.
I think it's gonna show it automatically, but yeah, let's specify.
Yeah. Well, because if you say Binance, it could be spot. Because Binance has futures and spot, right?
So should I? How do I distinguish that?
You say derivatives, finance derivatives.
Is that how you spell it?
Yeah, you got it. We all have our weaknesses and strengths, and I'm finding that my spelling is rapidly declining because of
Oh
AI.
yeah.
The
I feel like
autocorrect
yeah. As I
is
age, like I just mix up words.
yeah, as you age. What are you,
Yeah.
15 by
Here you
now?
go.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there you go. So it's the same list that you saw on CoinRotator itself, but you achieved it with a natural language query on Shumi, which is probably a lot more convenient.
Oh yeah,
And
for
now
sure.
it's further analyzing the data
Yeah.
in a more granular fashion, so you can really know which coin is strongest, and most importantly, bottom line, your risk to reward. Like you should always be establishing this, and now you don't even have to think; you just have to rely on Shumi to give you the risk to reward without having to do any calculations yourself. So there's really no excuse to not be asking it every time you take a trade. Just get its perspective. Maybe you completely disagree. Maybe it's giving you a bad take because it's just an AI, right?
Mm.
But it's good to have another consistent, objective perspective with zero bias. Like Shumi isn't gonna be like trying to promote one coin over another. That's often the case when you're reading sentiment on X. Everyone's selling something. Even the guy who says he doesn't sell anything is still taking payments uh, from projects and exchanges because let's face it, like why else would someone want to be famous on Twitter and X?
Yeah, they're all
So
just cloud chasing. But that's another thing that Shumi can do, right? Is checking Twitter sentiment.
yeah, exactly. It's a bit blended now, but it works best for individual coins.
Mm.
Um, but the general market sentiment, if there's a key event, it will pick it up. But more obscure events, it's not quite ready. But we will improve that over time.
Yeah, but it's still it's a great tool that just helps you keep filtering down, and eventually find you the best trades.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm using Shumi for every day. Um, Other beta testers are doing the same.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I'm not sure if we talked about some of the upcoming plans we have. Oh wow, this is really good stuff.
Right?
Yeah. So it's giving you correlation scores, key
Because
narratives.
yeah, you don't have to browse Twitter yourself and endure the brain rot that's on there.
Yeah,
It does
yeah,
it for
that's
you.
that's that's a really good advantage is you
Yeah,
actually can skip
yeah.
Twitter now and
It
not get sucked in doom scrolling like I
exactly.
freaking
Yeah, and it takes all the data, combines it with CoinRotator data, and it gives you
yeah,
a objective, the objectively best move. Okay, not
yeah.
best, but
Well, it's subjective. I
yeah, yeah,
mean, it's still just weighing pros and cons, and nobody knows future
yeah,
price.
yeah. It's still a
That's just
tool, like don't rely
it's
with your whole trading strategy just on this, but it's a very
uh
very helpful tool.
yeah, it's not a closed-in trading system, and it never will be. This is not what we're building here. Yeah, so Aave is a really strong play. I mean, for trading, its volatility is a bit low.
Mm,
So if you have a smaller account, it's probably not the best play for you. But if you want to buy something that has every box ticked for a reason to go higher in price, Aave seems to satisfy that, and
yeah,
Shumi agrees, which is kind of cool. So I believe this, Shumi believes this, and it seems like the general market believes this.
yeah,
So yeah, you just spend some time, do a little research with Shumi, and you might be surprised how useful you find it.
yeah. I mean, we could go into like how useful it's been for us. We can go right into the trades.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
So
Well,
one of
I notice SSVs in an uptrend
yeah, it's been
here.
in
But,
10 days.
you actually were telling me you took a short on it recently.
Yeah, I did actually.
Yeah,
I was
and
kind of scared to tell you actually, because
right, yeah, because I'm very very careful to not talk about shorting in the channel with newer traders, because shorting is a lot easier to get liquidated on than longing
yes,
if you're
indeed.
managing like normal position sizes for your account. But you made a really good trade, and you explained your logic, and it actually confirmed my own logic on why it was a good trade. So maybe we can sort of go over the mechanics of
Yes.
the trade you took.
Yeah, so like initially I was just like scanning for fresh coins and everything, and I saw SSV,
Yeah.
Tony give it to me, and I don't just blindly buy something that like Tony gives me. It's just like I use Tony
No.
to analyze it.
Yeah.
I saw that it was at the time. I don't have the screenshots at the time. I was just like researching by my own,
Uh
but
huh.
at the time it was in a double uptrend, 24
Right.
and 7 day uptrends, which is usually a buy signal, but at the time it was
Yeah.
extremely oversold. Like my
Right.
entry price was 11.20, and that was just
Yeah.
like
You
I
mean
don't know if
overbought?
it was
Overbought.
extremely overbought. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
I was
see
just
what you.
like, yeah, I remembered the wide range, the VRBs that you were talking about. You even wrote a Medium article on it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll leave it in the chat
Yeah,
for the video.
yeah, I remember that, and I thought, this is a great short opportunity, and I took it.
Yeah. So I guess one thing that we might want to talk about is there's kind of a scoring system, a mental model in my mind, and I'd like to flesh this out and share it with the CoinRotator traders so that
Mm.
they can also have some sort of mental model in their mind. I think one of the number one problems with new traders is that a mental model is simply based on their prior performance with trading rather than having something that is agnostic to the market. What I mean by that is you can look at a chart and see the same pattern over and over, but in an objective way. You're not imagining it by drawing a few lines and seeing a pattern. You're using something that's slightly more mechanical, uh, like indicators. So, like really common indicators, maybe some custom indicators like
Mm.
CoinRotator indicator, or there's actually another indicator on this chart that I've never released. In fact, if you can point out, the blue arrows and the smaller red arrows is a custom indicator. It's basically a standard deviation and a whole moving average crossing over each other in a very sort of smooth way. And I've been playing with this for a really long time, even before I traded crypto, looking
Mm.
for the smoothest signals for momentum. And I found that this, uh, in conjunction with the CoinRotator indicator, works pretty well at filtering out bad trades. So of course, also skipping wide range bar trades, um, which of course you could also fade, which you did, which I really like. But the numbers you see on the screen, the yellow numbers, refer to basically a scoring system where you see indicators align.
Mm.
Um, so what the criteria are, we'll probably need to write an article about this in addition to integrating into Shumi in the near future. But for every indication you have of the chart in your favor, you add a point, right?
Mm.
And what I've found is that scores over 3 and over tend to perform better as a trade. If you have like a random sample of trades and all of those trades are scored, the winning trades will more than likely have a score 3 or higher before you enter. So I think this is pretty valuable for people to get in their heads. Now, I want to say from the very beginning, I'm not telling you this is the best way for you to trade. This is the trade that works for me. This is the trade I see naturally, intuitively in my mind. Whenever I look at a chart with my indicator setup, this is what I see. So number one refers to we've touched the outer bands.
Mm.
So that's on its own not that important. It usually means it's overbought, but overbought can remain overbought for a very long time. Look at SPX.
Wait, 1 second.
Look at
So how does that make it a score?
it's just counting all the indicators that are aligned or
Oh,
inconfluent.
okay, okay.
That's what's the score. The score is nothing technical. It's just keeping track.
Mm-hmm.
So like you have a 1, you have a 2, you have a 3. And totally that's a score of 3. And a score of 3 is much better than a score of 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And the higher, like in some cases, in some very rare cases, you have a 5 score. Like early April, when the market was completely bottomed out because we had crashed so hard, you had a lot of very low risk score 5s, and I took those trades. I didn't take them with large spot positions. I still traded them sort of with my normal perpetual futures position size. But I took a lot of trades at the bottom of that because I liked how high these scores were. So basically, in this SSV short trade, we have a score of 1 because it's touching the outer bands. We have a score of 2 because my custom indicator is signaling down. In addition to that, you also have price below my moving average. This is, I think it's a 40-period whole moving average. I like whole because it's much smoother than simple and exponential, which can be a bit choppy, especially in crypto. And so you have a 3 score, so that's quite high conviction. Now I also have negative scoring. If there's a wide range bar on the signal, that's a negative 1. If there is a high candle count, those tiny little numbers you see, these are consecutive bars that trade in one direction. If you go, well, actually, I could release this at some point if someone's interested. But again, this is just how I create a score. It's not necessarily a really important way for you to trade. I found it very helpful for finding the rhythm of a market, finding a place where I can enter and exit with a reasonable management of risk. So that's kind of what I wanted to go over with for this setup, and why I saw that the trade you took was a good trade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's go quickly back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you have these scores. They're not all in the CoinRotator
No.
trading view.
No.
You know,
No.
whatever. So how exactly do you make it again?
So the numbers are irrelevant. It's just counting how
Yeah.
many indicators are in alignment.
So what does that mean? Like, which indicators are you referring to?
So the first indicator is the outer band. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
second one is my custom indicator, which is the blue and red arrows.
Uh-huh.
And the third one is that price is below the moving average.
Oh, okay. So it's at the outer band, below moving average, and then your custom blue. Is it the same as the V2 blue thing? You know what I mean, right?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, because this is the first time hearing this. Maybe you mentioned it to me, and I forgot.
Well,
I'm sorry.
yeah, like I said, it's very nuanced. It's
Yeah.
specifically how it
Okay,
trades.
I
And
understand.
I don't think counting the indicators, counting my indicators is what makes it valuable. What makes it valuable is I have very high confidence in my indicators that I have on my chart.
Yeah.
And what I want to explain to you and to anyone listening is that having high confidence in your setup is how you make money in the market. Because for any given trade, the outcome is random. You don't know that it's going to work, but you want to have confidence that it will work. And the best way to have confidence is to build a scoring mechanism, so you can count how much confluence there is for any given trade.
Yeah, very true. I mean, you've been telling me, it's like, don't ever look at the dollar amount. It's like,
yeah,
that's
another very good rule.
That's a confidence thing.
It's just points. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still very susceptible. Like when I see like a dollar amount go down too much, I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
The confidence goes out the window for me.
Yeah.
And I've been like trying really hard not to.
You're probably trading a bit more than you should be, and then you work your way up to that. Like maybe next time you find yourself in that position, maybe cut it to something more manageable, maybe 30% lower or 20% lower, and see how you feel until you find a sweet spot where you're trading more money after time as you make good trades. But if you're trading badly, you scale it back as well. Like you don't force the trade. So you're not trading larger amounts when you lose, but you're trading larger amounts when you win. You're basically trading with money that you earned. So the risk is lower. The risk of having a psychological breakdown or having fear of losing money will be lower in that case.
Yeah. And also
Yeah.
for these quote unquote score points, you're using the 20-hour chart.
Yes, yes. This is something one of the guys in the CoinRotator chat on Discord was playing around with.
It's very
He played
unusual.
around with this for market health last year. He made a 5-day market health, and I think he pulled up a 20-hour chart once. And I played around with alternative time frames for many years, and didn't really find anything that interesting. But for some reason, I really like the 20-hour now. I think I like it because it's not a standard time, but it's slow enough that it's the way I described it is it's just slow enough and it's just fast enough to be interesting. Because sometimes if you do some alternative times, it's too slow, or you make alternatives that are too fast. But this one kind of fits in this play where it's almost a day, but every day it's closing at a different hour because a day is 24 hours, right? So you're getting like these hidden divergences where you'll get a really tiny 20-hour candle close, and it will get a signal, a coin rotator signal, and the market will just take off within the next 4 hours. And for me, this is just kind of a fun little alpha play. It's very likely to drift into a more optimal alternative time frame, but for now, this is a pretty cool thing. What I also do to play with is when I'm not so sure about a trade, I'll look for the higher time frame trend on a 5-day chart rather than a 3-day, which is the default alternative setting. But now I'm up to 5 days. And if I see that the indicators are like sort of trending up, the moving average is trending up, there's a coin rotator uptrend, then I'll start looking for 20-hour trades that confirm that and take that one. So like SSV, although it's on a wide range bar, I see that it had a pretty bullish move from the 5-day, which we don't have here. We don't need to show, but just for argument's sake. So yeah, these are two pretty interesting and I'd say valuable insights to what I do when I take a trade, which basically I try to score the setup. And it's a simple scoring. It's just 1 point for an aligned indicator, and a negative for an unaligned indicator. Yep. And if something's over 3, I take it more seriously and I'll allocate a normal size position. If it's under 3, I'll tend to be a bit conservative with my positioning.
I see. But is this exclusive to the 20-hour chart? Because when you sent me the 20-hour chart, I was like,
no. You can do this with any time frame.
Yeah.
You can do this with any time frame.
I see,
absolutely. Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, you also showed me the 5-hour chart on SSV.
Yeah, so we have 5-hour, 20-hour, 5-day. It's kind of a rhythm I've found to be pretty interesting. Yeah.
I've never used a 20-hour. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That's the new tech. The game evolves every day.
Yeah.
New things to learn. You also showed me the same concept on Morpho. But hello? Okay, so anyway, before we were so rudely interrupted by Google Meet's crash out.
Yeah, I don't know. There was like a massive server failure on Google all of a sudden.
Even Discord was weird too. So anyway, you also shared me Morpho with the same concept, but here I'm a little confused because the bars are not touching the upper bands.
Right. This is again the point about the scoring. The scoring is not directly related to specific indicators. It's the indicator of your choosing is doing what you want, so that gives it a score of 1. If you have another indicator or another setup that's performing as you want it to, that's a score of 2. And then if you have another, subsequently, that's a score of 3, and another, it would be a score of 4.
Oh,
like
I see.
Yeah, but it's not related. It's not directly related to the indicator. It's simply a way to evaluate the setup and how good it is, or how much confluence there is between different factors.
Oh, I see.
So a score of 1 can be like, you have a good macro event. There's a good news catalyst. A score of 2 obviously is more price related. So yeah, but Morpho here had CoinRotator had a candle count, a consecutive candle count over 4, and it was below
below. Yeah.
the moving average, so you get a 3. It's a score of 3. And that's basically the gist of it. It's just the idea that you can have a mental model in your head really quickly to see that there's confluence when before you take the trade, or even to look at it after you take the trade to see how good a trade it is, like how many data points align with the trade you took.
I see. I see. But you also mentioned the blue arrows. What is that indicator?
Yeah,
You
that's
said
a
you might
custom
release it.
indicator.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Oh,
custom indicator. I actually vibe coded that myself
very
last year.
nice.
And it's basically an old setup from my Forex days that I used a lot, actually. It's probably the first custom indicator that I ever saw that made a lot of sense to me. It's basically when you have a slow moving average that aligns with something. It could be an RSI, it can be another moving average, but it's based on a different algorithm, basically. Like confluence, I think there's a certain level of confluence that's valuable. When you go over that level, it actually prevents good trades. But if you're careful with it, if you don't go too crazy, confluence of indicators can be really useful. This is primarily how the CoinRotator algo works as well. It's a confluence of time frames, right? We do multi-time frame analysis. And you see that it doesn't always work, but when it does, it works extremely well. So you just have to be patient for the setups to happen.
And confident.
Yeah. I mean, that's the point. It builds confidence.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing this. I hope you can also, give us a sneak peek for the indicator. At least for me, I would love to use it.
I can share it. I can share it. No problem. Just hit me up in the Discord or the Telegram, and I'll share it with you.
Yeah. Well, anyway, moving on. Recently, there's been some big buzz in the crypto related to Trump and Elon Musk.
Oh yeah. I was
What do you
talking
think about
this
that?
in the chat yesterday, and it's really interesting event from a trader perspective. I mean, obviously it's interesting on its own, but how the market interpreted it and how it ultimately ended up, people were pretty bearish. They were panicking.
Oh yeah, everybody
But
was.
oftentimes the initial reaction to unexpected news mean reverts really fast. And that's exactly what happened with Elon Trump. So basically the backstory on this is I don't care about the gossip, like what happened to Elon and what Trump did or didn't do. For those who don't know, basically Trump or Elon had a black eye, and how he got that wasn't very certain. And there was some rumors that that Elon was basically canceling, or sorry, Trump was canceling Elon. He didn't accept the appointment for NASA, and Elon was super pissed about this because basically it means is he doesn't get unlimited funding for SpaceX. But the whole point of Elon was to cut budgets, right? And when the market finally realized after the initial like knee-jerk reaction, what that meant was that they were canceling all of the budget cuts, and they were passing a new bill which basically created unlimited spending again. And so the market realizes when you have inflation that Bitcoin is more valuable because it's not inflationary, right? So the market just went absolutely apeshit after that, and it's been going up only ever since that. It's probably a day after that event. And now you also see they're reconciling and whatever, and that has no bearing on price anymore. People are just like, well, these are two kids who have a lot of power, and what the net result is that there's just more spending. There's going to be more deficit spending, and that's what crypto likes. Crypto likes spending. They like governments to spend as much money as they can and not go bankrupt.
Yeah, I remember at the time everybody was like, oh, "This is the Armageddon."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone was so scared. And, oh, it's the end of Tesla. This and that. It's definitely not the end of Tesla. Tesla is going to get more money than ever before. But yeah, he's not going to get it. He's not going to get his favorite person in NASA. That's over with. So he's pissed. But yeah, he realizes that he's not going to win a game with Trump because Trump is ultimately the master of the universe right now, not Elon. So yeah, so now we're in a mini alt season again, and this one is probably going to be the strongest of the year, and we're just getting started. So I wouldn't get too cynical about anything you see that's overbought. I'd let it sort of work off the overbought effect, and then try to buy at the range lows. I'm basically looking now for a nice pullback. I think we're in one now, and in a day or two, it's time to allocate whatever you can afford.
Mm.
Yeah.
So we're in a pullback right now, and you could capitalize on it with Shumi.
Yes, exactly.
So
Shumi's
is
gonna give you really good takes right now because it understands pullbacks very well.
so when is it gonna be
This-
available for at least the connotator key pass holders?
if you're already an active member of the chat, I'll give you access within 24 hours.
Mm.
If you're a newbie, it's probably in another 2 weeks.
Yeah, you gotta wait
But
for that.
yeah, you need to stay up to date with us. Follow us on Twitter at CoinRotator, or just drop by the chat, which is open. It's not private, and just ask about it. We'll
Yeah,
be happy to give you some access as long as it's a good fit,
yeah, I think it's very
or
fair.
you don't act like a jerk.
We've had quite a few jerks. Yeah, the whole fiasco was an interesting bit of alpha, and you actually mentioned a Twitter account that has a lot more alpha, which was
Yeah,
Dijon
so
Ping.
I'm not confirming or denying this, but as he says, don't know. This is a very sort of spiritual bent on being self-aware and trying to grow yourself as a trader. Rumor has it this is a GCR alt,
Wait,
and
wait, wait. Is this a human or an AI agent?
no, this is a human or a group of humans.
Oh,
That's
so
also the
what do they do?
controversy here. But yeah, so Degen Ping, whether or not it's affiliated to GCR, is a pretty interesting, entertaining, and insightful account, and pretty good at timing market moves.
Mm.
If you look at his pinned tweet right now, he's basically given you a roadmap of what he thinks is happening and what has happened and what will happen. So basically, I'll read it for you. Animal spirits for a few. That means a few coins. Conference dump into June. It's already happened. Early June fake out. Degen Ping was compared to Owen. Owen's another account that made a bold call in, I think it was December. It popped the market and he disappeared. Joyful June, which is what we're sort of in right now. Next phase is Kimchi Premium. So Kimchi Premium means basically the Koreans get super apey and they just
Ooh.
price agnostic. They just buy anything at any price and they don't care. And of course, if you've already gotten into the alts that they like, um, you're going to have a good time. So how do you track Kimchi Premium? You need to be tracking the Korean exchanges. The primary exchange for Korean traders is called Upbit. You
Mm.
can't trade there. It's only for Koreans. But when you see that coins are popping off on Upbit, then you should probably be long those coins for a little bit. That's not really a game I play, but can be very profitable. I tend to make more money shorting those coins when the momentum dies, but I don't recommend that. It's actually way harder than you'd think it is.
Mm.
Um, After that, it's going to be another insane BTC rally, and then of course alts. The time frame on that's not super clear, so I think this is sort of late June, early July, and then he gets really vague about moon cycles, and then Jet Tavana. You can Google that, but people were interpreting that as referring to Jeets, but he doesn't mean Jeets. It's actually a Buddhist philosophical concept, too complex for me to try to explain. I'm not a monk, I'm not a philosopher, but I'm very interested in this account.
Hmm.
It's very, very well
Interesting.
presented.
So you say
I
this
believe
guy has a
all of
good track record, yeah?
He doesn't even have a track record. It's just there's a lot of indications that he's someone else, and that someone else might be the most important trader who's ever publicly traded on crypto. So
Yeah.
just take a look. So, anyways, I gotta run. This has been really fun, Martin.
Oh yeah, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, of course. If anyone wants to get involved with CoinRotator, just send us a message on Twitter or Telegram or Discord.
Discord, yeah.
And yeah, we'd be happy to have a chat and see if you fit with us. Most people do. You have to have an open mind, just like Degen Ping says. Don't know. It doesn't mean he doesn't know. He means don't think you know everything, when in fact you probably know very little.
Stay humble.
Stay humble. Sorry, that's the best way to say it. And I'm gonna go stay humble offline and enjoy the rest of my night. Hope you do the same, Martin. This was fun.
I will.
Take
I
it easy.
will. I will.
All
I
right.
will. I promise. I'll pester you much more so we can do this more often. So you don't stay
Fantastic.
offline for
Yeah,
2
yeah.
months.
I gotta blame you for this one.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
All
Take
right.
care.
Talk to you later, Martin. Ciao.